What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today, XCN. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, all right? It's the 15th day of June today, and we're sitting here at about 1.32 cents on, 8 hours, 19 minutes left in the day, 8 hours, 19 minutes left in the week as well. We've just started a new 3-day time frame. That's nice. Hey, our 3-day RSI actually looks like we're going to find support here pretty soon. I would expect that the next 3 days are going to be bullish, even if we do move down, right? If we're looking at this here from a low to a high, just getting a retracement on this overall low to high right here. Come on now, get up there. You know you want to. Come on now, there we go. We are reaching for the golden ratio, but we just can't seem to get there. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be devastated. I hope nobody is. If we go down to the golden ratio zone and then we move up, that's a perfectly normal thing to do. OnyxCoin does, and it has done this a couple of times. Whether it's on the way down to the golden ratio or on the way up to the golden ratio, where it will miss the golden ratio. It has done this a couple times. It's actually very fond of doing that, and I think the reason for that is there's some attention on this, attention from people who have a lot of money on this or who have a lot of interest in this, maybe. I think this thing's going to rip. I think it's going to do very, very well, and I'm probably not the only one, and that could explain why there's some front running going on the golden ratio zones, right? Typically in these kind of more obvious areas, right? We're not the only ones that have access to this information. Anybody can draw the fib on there, right? Even if you don't have it in log, let's just see. If I take it out of log, let's take it out of log. I guess if you take it out of log, we're already through the golden ratio, to be fair. I didn't know what that would do. I was like, are we still above it even if we take it out of log? But nope, we're well through it. And in which case, again, even if we're not in log, you could still go to the 786. A lot of people could be aware of this as well, and maybe they're front running ahead of time because we're already through the golden ratio. However you want to rationalize it, it makes sense to me that we don't have to go lower. That's all I'm trying to say. Let me look at the daily RSI real quick. We still do have bullish divergence. We still do. We're hanging on by a thread, but man, if today can close green, we validate that bullish divergence, and that would actually really validate the notion that we don't go lower if today can close green. If today can't close green, well, then 1.23 cents to 1.12 cents, not a big deal. Who cares, right? It's just a little bit more. I think we've been through most of it already. Who cares, right? Unfortunately, we have broken out of our bull flag. I feel like I'm pretty confident that we've broken out of it. There is still a chance. There's a lingering chance of hope that this could be a fake out. I'm telling you, man. And for anybody that thinks that that's copacetic, I'm just coping here. If anybody thinks that, I would say, what else would you call it? I mean, if we had a move up that went like this, I would consider this a fake out. I mean, it's clear as day that that's a fake out. There's no way to cut it. That is absolutely a fake out, right? Of course, ideally you would see fake outs as soon as they get down there. You come back up, but I don't know if there's any direct time frame that happens. There's no volume that came through, right? We had no above average volume there. We've actually had some of the least amount of volume that we've seen in OnyxCoin's recent history, like since January. We're getting, look at that, 2.7% in a 24-hour period. Did you see that right there? It might be different now that I'm refreshing it, but 2.7%, that's pathetic. That's not what OnyxCoin sees. And at the lows, as we're moving lower, that to me, look, 2.7%. I can't think of any. I've been watching OnyxCoin every damn day, you guys, since January. I haven't seen a percentage that was like less than 6% at all. 2.7%, and we're at the lows. We're looking to go lower. To me, and it's over the weekend. To me, this is very validating to the idea that we could have a fake out, and then of course that this price action to the downside is going to get eaten up just really, really fast. Right? There's no selling pressure. Right? And I could have told you all of that. I could have told you that there is no selling pressure just by looking at the golden ratio if we bounce here, right? Because typically you only see this reaction with the golden ratio where you reach for it but you don't get there when there's a lack of selling pressure. Or, in other words, a lot of buying pressure. But because of the low volume, I guess we're going to say there's a lack of selling pressure, right? I've always said that that's the same thing, but I think we can deduce it's kind of different, isn't it? Looking at this on the 1 hour time frame, we're trying to figure out if we're moving up or down here, right? That's the whole point of the 1 hour time frame now. Whoop, that's not what I meant to do. Let's get it. Come on now. There we go. I like this bottom. I like this bottoming formation that you've got going on here, right? Something like this. I love these little W shapes, man, at the bottom. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's like a W, right? It's kind of like a W. Higher lows, the whole shebang. Not a lot of volume as you're pressing lower. Yes, you had some volume here, but you're testing that area again. You even went lower in the price on a closing basis than you did here, and you've got no volume coming in. That very much validates the idea that this, if we were inverted, right? If this was a top and we had no volume on the second attempt, I'd be like, we're going down, but we're not going down, right? Not because it's inverted. We're going to be going up. Absolutely, we're going to be going up. So I'm very confident in that. If we see any kind of downside at all, again, 1.23 to 1.12 cents would be where we go, and we would likely it would be so quick, man. It would be over before you know it. You blink and you're going to miss it, you know what I mean? But I don't even think that we're going to get down there. If you look at the RSI, you've got higher lows here, higher lows right there with lower lows in the price on a closing basis. That is bullish divergence. That move, to be fair, has already happened, but to mark bullish divergence at the low is very nice to see. That oftentimes does mark a bottom if we ever get that opportunity. As I zoom out, it kind of just looks like an Adam and Eve double bottom on a 1 hour time frame. Not that significant, but still a nice classic double bottom look. You look at the RSI, more than just the bullish divergence, you can see that we really are trying to make some headway to the upside. Higher lows here. Might we form some higher highs, get into the overbought zone, maybe by the end of today? Even if we reject the overbought zone, the next low, as long as it's not getting oversold, I think that would be promising. And then tomorrow, Monday, going into Tuesday, I think should be a rather good day. Okay? But if we don't move up today too much, or we don't move up tomorrow too much, don't worry, man. I think that the next week is still going to be very, 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 very bullish, okay? Bitcoin's going to be at new all-time highs. The rest of crypto is going to be following suit, right? Maybe not in the sense of new all-time highs, but just moving up. You look at the 4 hour time frame, we've got higher lows in the 4 hour, a little bit more severe on that divergence there. Higher lows, lower lows here. It really does look like a double bottom. And again, the volume says it all to me. You move down and then you're making another attempt, but you have the absence of volume and you're not going anywhere. Like, yeah, I think that I'm convinced, man. We're not going to go lower. That is the low. That is it right there. That's the low. There you go, trolls. Now when we go lower, you have something against me. There's the low right there, right? I've said that a couple times. I thought the low was here. I thought that was a higher low, right? Then we expected that 1.43 cents somewhere in this area. We thought that this was the low, that was the low. I don't know if at this point I thought we were going lower or not. I forget, but I don't really care. I don't care about being right or wrong, man. Whatever. I'm addressing all the points that I was wrong, though, just to validate that, right? Higher lows here, double bottom right now. OnyxCoin does like to find double bottoms right there, right? Even if it is building lower, sometimes we oftentimes do get that move up beforehand, and I think that's what we're going to get here. Looking at the 4 hour time frame, depending on how we move, if we get up there pretty fast, this week could be really good. This could be the week of prosperity and riches. If we take our time and we're just like figuring ourselves out getting up there, maybe next week is going to be the week of prosperity and riches. How do I know this? Well, because Friday, Sunday, this is next week's end right here, right there, right? So if we spend all this week getting into the overbought zone, we'll be moving up, maybe like configuring ourselves, whatever. We'll be in this kind of like consolidation phase down here, but then next week, once we get overbought, that's when we'd be breaking out. Personally, I would like us to just get a nice robust move up, and that's kind of what OnyxCoin is known for. Whenever it does bottom out, we do get these nice robust moves up that happen pretty fast. Like within a couple days, a few days, we're seeing some decent moves, even in the same day. And if this is what I think or what I'm hoping it could be, this could be the next moment where we see a move just like this take place. And I would assume, unfortunately, because maybe not, maybe I shouldn't say this. Let's say I'm going to give it the nod of approval, the acknowledgement of it being a possibility, something to consider. Because we're so low here, we're below the 382, because we've disrespected the flag, even if this is a fake out, there's a possibility that we do stop at 3.3 cents to 4 cents, okay? There is a possibility, because even if it's a fake out, we can still break out in the actual direction, right? I think if I could just draw a straight line, man, for once. Let me see. Right? If we were to make a move up like this, there's no doubt that's a fake out. But we still did break out, we still faked out to the downside. This could hurt breakout performance. If this is a bull flag and this is a fake out, our measure move is still all the way up at about 5 cents. But measure moves are just ideas. They're not requirements. You can miss that target to the downside, to the upside. You can exceed it, I'm definitely hopeful. I'm definitely optimistic that this next move is going to take us up to 5 cents. I do expect that we're going to get a stronger move overall than what we had here. But to see that same move take place, let's see. From a low to a high here. I mean, that in itself, from this area, that would take us right up just below these highs. So whether we're just below 5 cents or just above 5 cents, I don't really care. I think it's going to happen one way or another. But again, the idea that we had this fake out to the downside, I'm wondering if this hurts our breakout performance. I am anticipating this next move to be bigger than the last move, and that's the one thing giving me hope that we don't stop below 4 cents. But if we were to stop below 4 cents, don't be discouraged. OnyxCoin's not broken, all right? It's just in a position of weakness right now that might hurt it later in its performance. But still, I don't think anybody's going to be upset with a 3x move in the next 2 weeks, right? If you are, man, you got some high standards. And I actually admire that. You should have high standards, right? 3x is not good enough in 2 weeks. Give me a 4x or a 5x. That's what we want to see. Maybe it blows us all out of the water. We say screw you to the 786 and the 886. We say screw you to the measure move. And we just go all the way up to the 1272, right? If we had nothing to do with the bull flag, if we had nothing to do, like if I didn't know how OnyxCoin behaves, I didn't take any of that into consideration, I didn't run with the idea that we're going to see a stronger move here, looking at the fibs, just strictly by the fibs, okay, I would say golden ratio, getting below the 382 like this, and then coming up, I would say I would be very confident that you stop here. Because I know OnyxCoin, or let's translate those words, because I have a bias toward OnyxCoin, let's just be fair, I do believe that we're going to go higher. Is my bias going to be correct? Maybe. Right? I've been with this thing for over a year. I'd like to think that I know how it performs, but just because I'd like to think I know doesn't mean that I'm above the law. Fibs, typically speaking, just the way this looks, if we take everything out of context, we just look at it for what it is. If this is my first time looking at the chart, my immediate thought would be that we go here. But yes, we absolutely could go higher. I have my fingers crossed. I have some hopes and dreams that we could be moving up to, I mean, man, who knows? We could be at 8 cents by the end of the month, but I certainly do believe that we will be at least around 4 cents, if not more cents, over the next 15 days. I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. And by the way, for anybody that's wondering, because I know we don't talk about it too much because we're so far away, right? I was told to not talk about it because we're so far away. No. I forget sometimes because I think everybody's on the same page here. From a low to a high, we take that fib from this massive consolidation phase that we had here. The expectation from here is to go all the way up to 26 cents to 32 cents. We're going to see, I know it sounds crazy, man. I know it does, but just when I tell you, this is what's happening. 19x, 20x, if not 24x, something like that from here, something in that range. That's where we're going to go. We've run the charts enough times to know that's the area to expect. At a bare minimum, we're looking for 20 cents, but man, this thing is going places. So get in while you can. Get in while it's cold, and we're going to make it hot here over the coming weeks and going into July as well. I expect that we're at those targets, 26 to 32 cents by the end of July. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. All right, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.